Well, hello and welcome to this video, which we thought we'd make from church for you to explain what church is going to be like now that we're going to begin welcoming people back for services. We're thrilled at the prospect of you coming back to church, but it is going to look a little bit different to the church that you left, and we don't want you to panic. So we're just doing a little film to explain one or two things. One of the most obvious things you'll notice is that we are encouraging people to wear masks. This really hasn't been an issue when people have been in church. Most people have already come with masks, but just in case you don't have one, we will have them available in church. And just in case you're panicking that to put a mask on is going to be problematic or it's not going to look great, let me just demonstrate what it's like. Which means it's still perfectly possible to speak, but it just means that we're keeping everybody safe.
First thing you notice as you come into church is our hand gel station. So please do take the opportunity to use the hand gel. And there's a little bit of tissue here if you put a little bit too much on and you need to wipe off the excess. And then once you have gelled your hands, then please do come in and take a pew. As you can see, the pews have been marked with a green tick or a red cross. So please do come in and sit in one of the pews with a green tick.
When it comes to the distribution, you'll notice one or two things which are different. The first thing you'll notice is there's nobody sat behind me in the choir stalls. That's because we're not permitted to have a choir in church who can sing. The people in the congregation aren't allowed to join in with the hymns either, which means that when you come in to church, you will be able to hear the hymns in the normal way, but you won't be able to take part in them. The people who are sat next to you might be quite glad of that, but we'll just leave that to chance. When it comes to the distribution, you will also notice some differences. You might recall before lockdown, we had reached the point where there was no common cup, and that position will still continue. In order to minimise the risk to anyone, we are putting the wafers into individual compartments in this box with a lid which is on the altar. The lid will remain in place during the prayer of consecration, and during the distribution, Dom will bring the elements to people in their seats. So we ask you to remain in the pews. Dom will bring the box and he will put the box in front of you. And we encourage you to take one wafer from one compartment. And that's really makes certain that people are not put at risk.
Well, when it comes to the peace, we can't greet each other as we used to by shaking one another's hands. So after I have greeted everyone with the words of the peace, then we can greet one another, but at a social distance.
One of the greatest differences that you'll notice in church is the fact that, of course, there is a camera in church. Of course, you'll have worked out there must be a camera because I'm talking to it now, but you won't be accustomed to actually seeing the camera in church. We've just put it in front of the front pew with a laptop next to it. But the reason we're telling you about it is to put your mind at rest that the camera is only pointing towards me and Dom, the people who are behind the altar, and also to the people who will be reading in church. It will not take pictures of anybody in the body of the church. So your mind can be put at ease on that score. Of course, the principal reason for having a camera in church is because even though people are coming into a service, we will continue to have our service on Zoom as we have been doing. And the camera just enables everybody to be part of the experience of the service in church.